When a funny and humorous situation occurs amidst a serious and tense background, we call it comic relief. For example, when discussing a plan to save humanity, two minions in jeans burst into uncontrollable laughter simply because your name means butt. Yes, these minions are a prime example of comic relief, created with the main purpose of alleviating the tense atmosphere in the villainous world of Despicable Me. Surprisingly, it is this innocent and somewhat foolish behavior that gradually wins the hearts of the audience, sometimes even overshadowing the main storyline. The audience loves them, so the filmmakers cater to them, giving the minions more spotlight and elevating them beyond just comic relief. After 5 movies, we have come to know a formidable army that continuously grows in historical depth, scale, and character development. In today's video, we'll explore how the minions have evolved to dominate the hearts of millions of viewers. For the minions to accompany the audience in the long run, resources are essential. To enrich the story of these creatures, the filmmakers have broken all natural laws and inserted the minions into Darwin's theory of evolution. According to this, the minions have existed since prehistoric times and quickly realized that their life's goal was nothing but to find a villain to serve. In the first line of their CV, the minions once followed the T-Rex, the giant predator at the top of the food chain, before switching to serve prehistoric humans. It wasn't long before the minions were unemployed again. It may sound absurd, but the minions even successfully applied for the position of architect in Egypt, designing the pyramids, albeit with the design drawings upside down. Having no other choice, the minions approached Dracula to celebrate his birthday with a cake under the bright, sparkling sunlight. In their last attempt, the minions followed Napoleon as he conquered across Europe, only to be driven to the cold, lonely Arctic. The minions built an entire civilization of their own, rivaling that of humans. However, lacking a villain to serve and a purpose to fight for, they fell into deep depression. Seeing this, Kevin, the brave minion, decided to leave the Iceland and vowed to return only after finding a worthy villain to serve. Accompanied by Stuart and Bob, the 3 confidently arrived in the land of freedom, the United States, where they donned fashionable worker jeans and found the most notorious villain of the time to serve. Following Scarlet Overkill, the trio traveled to England with the mission to steal the Queen's crown. During this challenge, Bob was briefly crowned king but quickly abdicated, simply because it displeased Scarlet. As Scarlet's exploitation of the minions became increasingly apparent, the minions realized she was not the master they were seeking. Kevin rose up to protect his friends from danger. This was when they met Young Gru. From then on, the minions became his indispensable allies, assisting him in various missions amidst a world full of villains. Not only do they have a long history, but the minions also show clear development in personality and role with each film. In the first film, during their initial mission with Gru, the minions were nothing more than minions. According to the Cambridge Dictionary, a minion is simply an unimportant person who has to follow any orders given by a superior, even if it involves an absurd ideal like stealing the moon. In that setting, the main tasks of the minion team were just small chores like repairs, preparing resumes, or even serving as lab rats, of course, without any pay raises. However, that doesn't mean the minions didn't show their personalities or qualities. No matter the assigned task, the minions would wholeheartedly take on their roles and always find a way to enjoy themselves. Nothing can buy the loyalty of these tiny soldiers. Despite their dedicated service, all the minions ever want are affectionate gestures from those they adore, much like children needing warmth from their parents. This innocence is what melts the hearts of viewers and remains a core trait throughout the minions' journey. In the second part of Despicable Me, the screen time for the minions increased significantly, giving them more opportunities to shine in their own little subplots. To rescue their friends who had been transformed into aggressive purple creatures, the remaining minions had to demonstrate their combat strength through flexibility, creativity, and most importantly, unity. They triumphed. While in the first film, the minions mainly served as the backdrop for the main storyline, their role in the second film became much more significant. Without the minions, Gru would have lacked the final key to solving the open case. Consequently, the central conflict of the film, Gru's journey to redemption, was resolved, opening a new chapter in his career and life. After 2 parts of Despicable Me, the Minion team had left a tremendous positive impression on viewers, but something still seemed missing. We could hardly distinguish between individual minions due to their similar appearances and personalities. This gap was quickly filled by the filmmakers with the first spin-off film. With Kevin, Stuart, and Bob as central characters, the story follows their journey to find a master before meeting Gru. Here, the minions are no longer just identical, jeans-clad larvae. A closer look reveals that Kevin is tall and slim with a tuft of hair in the middle of his head, while Bob is shorter with heterochromatic eyes. More importantly, each character has a distinct personality, making the minion world even more vibrant. Kevin is calm and mature, taking on the role of the older brother in the group. Stuart is mischievous, loves to tease, and has a strong passion for the ukulele. Bob is both innocent like a child and sometimes behaves thoughtfully like an adult. Thanks to these colorful individual traits, the audience, especially children, unconsciously understands, loves, and bonds more with these yellow creatures. At the center of the story, the Minion Army has the opportunity to capture the hearts of viewers with their unique qualities. Kevin's bravery is undeniable, from stepping out of his comfort zone at the beginning of the film to putting a rocket in his mouth to protect his friends. The other minions are equally impressive, always coming up with immediate solutions when faced with difficulties. Considering what the minions have accomplished, it's easy to conclude that these creatures possess leadership qualities and the ability to take control of their lives. The minions became seemingly unimportant in the first film not because they were ignorant or weak, but simply because they chose to live that way. In return, they always have each other and remain innocent despite millions of years of harsh survival. Returning to the modern era with the third film of Despicable Me, after Gru reforms and becomes an agent for the Anti-Villain League, the minions once again lose their life's purpose. In other words, the little army is given a subplot once more, avoiding stealing the main character's spotlight while still ensuring ample space for fan interactions. This time, viewers are introduced to Mel, the new leader of the Minion Army. No longer mere followers, the minions now stand up for themselves. When they can't convince Gru to return to villainy, they are ready to pack up and seek new opportunities. This time, it's not just 3 of them on the journey, they all leave together in unity. Of course, their trademark chaos follows them wherever they go, and this time is no exception. The entire group ends up in prison, where they quickly become the top dogs. Once again, the film showcases the minions' leadership qualities, proving that they can take charge when they want to. But when they grow tired of ruling, they remember their long-standing loyalty to Gru and decide to return. In the second spin-off, the minions have yet another chance to prove their extraordinary abilities. We are taken back to the 1970s when young Gru is just starting his villainous career and is caught in a tug-of-war with very dangerous villains. At this point, the only thing that can save Gru is the minions' courageous bravery. Even after being cast aside by Gru, when they see the young boy being kidnapped, Kevin and his friends immediately spring into action, regardless of where they have to go or what they might face. The minions set off, finding ways to overcome each challenge they encounter. It's undeniable that these little creatures are incredibly flexible and quick-witted, so nothing can hold them back for long. At the climax, knowing they would have to face the most ruthless and fierce villains on Earth, these tiny creatures decided to enroll in kung fu training. With indomitable willpower and, most importantly, maintaining a positive attitude amidst countless challenges, the minions completed the course. It was this same optimistic spirit that led the minions to victory over the giant monsters and brought Gru back safely. The contrast between their small stature and the extraordinary feats they accomplish instills in viewers a strong belief in themselves and in ideas that might initially seem silly and impossible. Whether working, talking, singing, or even fighting, we rarely see a moment when the minions' bright faces are without a smile. This positive energy spreads like a virus, crossing the screen and striking directly at the viewers' hearts. It's delightful to look back and see that these once mindless little beings have been given enough character depth by the filmmakers to make them increasingly endearing and deserving of our support.